How's it going, everybody? My name is Ryan, the Cardboard Casual, and I'm coming at you today with another Force of Will starter deck unboxing. Today, we're going to be doing the Wind Deck Elemental Surge. This is one of the 5 starter decks for the new Force of Will cluster, the Raya cluster, and I wanted to open this up and show you what's inside, so if you're interested in joining the game again, or joining the game to begin with, you at least have a little bit more information on what the cards look like, how the interactions work, and a little bit more insight on the game. So I want to go ahead and crack this open. Now, the real thing we've all been waiting for is this deck. Now, I am a fan of the color green. As you can tell, I am a big fan of the color. I actually will, in every card game, try to make a mono green deck, whether it's good or bad, just because I love it so much. So we're going to crack this open and see. Now, every starter deck you will get 1 ruler. You will also get a 40 card main deck with 10 separate cards, 4 copies of each, so you do always have a full playset. You will get 4 special stones that are foiled and 6 normal stones of that color that are foiled as well. So we're going to go ahead and look through these cards so we can get a little bit of talking about them. Put these to the side here. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at who our ruler is. His name is Gil. He's a human that has judgment for 3, 2 green, and a colorless. He does have a green energize. He has an ability that says remove an elemental in your graveyard from the game. Produce a green will. You can only spend that for Spirit Magic Chance, and you can only do it once per turn. What are Spirit Magic Chance? We'll get into that in a second. He also has a rest ability that allows him to search your deck for a Gentle Breeze Elemental, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle. So we're going to go in to see what that does in a little bit. When he does Judgment, he becomes Gil, the Gifted Conjurer. He's an 1100 attack and 1100 defense with barrier, meaning that nothing can target him, which is really, really nice if people are trying to weaken him or give him any sort of problems. He does keep the ability on the front to remove an elemental in your graveyard from the game to produce a green, to spend it on Spirit Magic Chance and only once per turn. So he essentially flips to just be a big body on the field that is a little hard to deal with because of the barrier. So let's see what interactions he has. And as you all know, if you've seen my videos before, I do like to order my cards in the how much they cost order, so we can organize them a little bit better. And I am just absolutely in love with the artwork of this game and this deck. So let's go ahead and look at our cheap 1-cost cards. Our first one is, his name is Leaf Fighter. He is an elemental card, so it's going to help with using Gil's ability to remove elemental cards from the graveyard to produce the green. He's a simple 400 body, and he can be on the field, used as a cheap blocker to put something into your grave. So there's that. We have our 1-drop here, and this is Traveling Trader. It says, when this card enters the field, you get to draw a card and then discard a card. He is a cheap body of 300 attack and 400 defense, and his main purpose is to get you a card and throw an elemental card in your graveyard, so that way you have the ability to utilize Gil's ability. Here we have is our first example of a Spirit Magic Chant. It does cost 1. And it is a quick cast, which is really nice. You can use it at any point you have priority. A J Resonator. Target J Resonator gains 600 attack and 600 defense until end of turn. So you have a huge pump up on one of your J Resonators. So Gil, when he's flipped, or any one of your Resonators on the board, for only one. And the cool thing about it is because it's a spirit magic, if you remove an elemental from your graveyard, you essentially get to play this for free. And now, the card that Gil searches out on his ruler side is Gentle Breeze Elemental. It is a chant, but it's also a spirit magic, and it's an elemental. So, with the quick cast of 1, it allows you to draw a card. The cool thing about this is you can pay the green to draw a card, or what you're actually going to do is remove an elemental from your grave to play this for the 1, because it is a spirit magic and it is an elemental, so it meets both the requirements. So this is going to help you put some more cards in your hand. Moving into our 2-cost cards, we have Elven Guide. This is a 600 attack with a 2 cost of 1 green and 1 colorless. It's another elf. It says, when this card enters the field, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, put one of them in your graveyard and the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So this is going to help you see kind of what's coming up. You can remove one of the elementals in your deck and put it to the grave, so that way you are putting more fodder for his ability and for the big beater that we'll be showing you soon. So that's what he's going to be, with a nice little blocker stats on the field. Now we have another one with the same stats. It's our elf here, Guardian of the Portal, with 2 green to pay her 600 attack and defense. She says, rest another recovered resonator you control. This card gains 100 till end of turn. Now this doesn't have a limit, so this is really cool. You can use this ability at any time you have priority. You can rest any one of the resonators on the field and she gets pumped up. So if you have a bunch of little weenies on the field, you can rest them all, make her bigger and swing in. Now we have another one of our elementals here, Leaf Magician. He's a 3 cost, 2 green and 1 for 700. It says, when this card is put into the graveyard from the field, draw a card. Which is fantastic because you want an elemental to be in the field to use his ability, and you want to draw a card, so there's a win-win with this situation. Moving into our Tree Root Sprite. This card says, when this card enters the field, choose 1. Destroy target non-magic stone, non-J Resonator entity, or search your deck for an elemental and put it into your graveyard. Then shuffle your deck. So it gives you a little bit of utility. When you play this card, you get to kill a addition, which could be affecting your graveyard, because there are cards out there that remove things from your graveyard, which will affect the way Gil can be used. You can search that elemental and throw it to your graveyard. You can take one of the weenie ones from up top, throw it in the graveyard, so now you have more to use those spirit chants. Now, why do we want all this in there for the spirit chants? Well, this is the main one. This is Vanish, and it costs 3 green, and it is a spirit magic. So you can use Gil's ability to pay for one of them during your turn. It is quick cast, and it says cancel target spell. So any card the opponent plays, you play it, cancels it. So this is going to be a big thing. You're saving up for the big threats that your opponent can do, and you're going to play that. How do we win the game? This card right here. This is Cecil Leteliel, the Elven Prince. He's a 1,000 elf that says you may pay 1 colorless less to play for each elemental in your graveyard, meaning the cheapest he can be is 2 green for 1,000, which is awesome. He also pumps up elemental resonators you control by 200. So if you have a couple of those weenie elementals on the field, when this is there, they get bigger, so now they have more value when they're swinging in before they go. And if you have a couple of these on the field, which is very possible, it can get very, very dangerous. Having a couple of these 1,000s in to swing in for massive damage, or it makes your opponent scared to swing in because you know you can block and kill them. So It's very, very interesting deck. In my opinion, I think it is one of the more niche decks in the starters. I think this one is more for probably a 4 out of 5 in terms of complexity, and I wouldn't even say complexity as much, but the more of the people who are not used to getting rid of cards from their hand and working with smaller hands to do different weird things at different times, it takes an interesting little mentality to do that. That said, unfortunately, being the green deck, it is not out of the 3 we've gone through so far, it's my least favorite, unfortunately. There is a lot of utility that is wasted in this deck alone. I do believe that when the set comes out, there's going to be a lot more cards that is going to make a lot of these cards interact better. But as of right now, this starter deck, Elemental Surge, as much as it hurts me, I think is the least beneficial to new players or returning players out of the decks we have reviewed so far, and more than likely overall. I hope that you have enjoyed this review of another Force of Will starter. I am really excited that we're making these videos. More and more people are watching and learning. And before we go, we're going to learn really quick about how we get these cards out. And I can't get over how beautiful these cards are. Every deck you are going to get these magic stones. You're going to get 6 foil of the regular wind magic stones, which are really, really gorgeous. And your special magic stone for this one is the Spirit Stone, which does say, treat this as a wind magic stone. You can rest it for wind, and in a pinch, it has the ability to be banished and sent to the graveyard to draw a card. So, I also think that is just one of the prettiest cards right there. I am a sucker for green. But this is what you're going to get in the deck, and as of right now, until we see what the new set brings, I think it's going to be the least helpful deck. That wraps it up for another starter deck review. This has been Ryan, the Cardboard Casual. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I look forward to playing you soon.